Hey folks, Ray from loveyourrv.com back at you once again. And today I have a review, and I'm going to install some fans onto the RV. This company called Titan, looks like they're from Taiwan, and they also have a plant in Germany, make these fans for RVs. We have a couple fridge vent fans, multi-purpose rack mount fan, and then we also have a cooling fan for a roof vent. Now, like I said before, a lot of companies offer to send me quite a few products. Most of them are quite cheesy, but these ones look quite intriguing. They didn't look like they were really crap quality, just judging from their website, so I thought I'd give them a shot, especially because I had actually a bit of a need for some fans. My old fridge, our old Dometic fridge, the cooling unit packed it in about a year and a half or so ago. We had it replaced under an extended warranty, but that's it over there. But I noticed it actually doesn't have a fan. It seems to cool quite well, but I'd like to add a fan to the ventilation stack just to help it out in really warm temperatures. And this one here looks like something I could mount up on the top roof vent, suck air up, and get rid of hot air in the back ventilation system there, and that'll just help the fridge out, maybe help it last longer. And this one is fits into the roof vent. It's for an interior cooling fan, and we have a Fan-Tastic fan in our living area, which has been good. But this one I'd like to put up into the bedroom vent. Interesting thing about these fans is they have automatic and manual controls on them. So the fridge ones, you can set them to come on at a certain temperature, but you also can manually override it if you want to do some cooling that way. So I thought the first part of the video, I'll just unbox them here, and I've set up sort of a test bed so we can kind of see what kind of current draw they have and how loud they are. So let me go through them. We'll start with the two different ones for the multi-purpose rack fan I'm going to use in the fridge on the RV. Okay, so I've set myself up a little test bed here. I got my Noco battery booster there, drawing 12 volts from it to power the fans. I got my multimeter here in current mode so I can measure the current the fans are using. So we'll start with this little set of fans. So you can see they're about 3.5 inches by, it's like about 7 3/4 when they're stacked together there. Very easy to plug in. Comes with these Molex connectors. Plug each fan into this Y connector, and then it's got about a 6-foot wire. It's a little shielded with some kind of rubberized stuff. That's pretty good. And then it goes into the controller box here, which gives you manual and auto modes. And then from the controller box you have another about 6-foot pair of wires, and they've also put some tubing on that to protect it. And then you hook it up to 12 volts in your rig. So let's give them a try, see what they sound like. So first we'll try a manual mode here. And so we got one LED. So it looks like it has 6 steps there. And we have 0.025 amps, so barely anything. Let me just turn it off, see what the idle amps is. So 0.009, so 9 milliamps, so basically nothing. So let's step that up, and it's making hardly any noise at all. It's spinning faster than the camera shows there. The camera kind of oscillates with it. So let's crank it up. The LEDs are quite bright. I can see them here in sunshine. So there I am at 0.038 milliamps. A little faster. There's about halfway. Still can't really hear it. Very quiet. There's 4. We're at 0.079 milliamps. I'll go to 5. There, we finally got to 109 milliamps, so 0.1 amps, hardly anything. And the max We're at 0.17, and I finally can sort of start to hear it. It's blowing pretty good air. Not crazy amount of air, but it'd be good to cool a fridge vent. And quite quiet, even in max mode. So let's go over here and turn manual off. Now this has an auto setting because there is a temperature probe. So we'll just turn that on to auto. Right now in auto mode it's not very, 0.028, so it's one of the low settings. Let's move this probe. There's a tiny probe here you see that you can mount somewhere. You'd want to mount it near your cooling fins on your fridge. So we'll bring it out into the sunshine here, and you can see it climb in current, and the speed climbs. That looks like it's dead stop, but that's just my camera. They're actually moving pretty good. So as it sits in the sun there, current is climbing and speed is climbing, so temperature thing works. Cool. So this box is a little plasticky. Fans look pretty decent quality, kind of your typical computer fans there. See on the back here, standard. And then they give you some mounting hardware, little brackets that fit on the side here so you can mount. There's like a little clip here. I guess that's to clip into the plastic on your fridge vent. And thumb screws, decent enough quality, and a little 3M tape. So not a bad little kit. I really like this box that you can mount somewhere, and you can have the choice of auto or manually set your fan. And it doesn't draw much current at all and is quiet. So let's go to the bigger set that I'm really kind of more interested in. Here we go. So I got the bigger fan set up. This is the one I'm more interested in. I'd like to put this at the right up on the roof vent at the top of the rig underneath the cover and draw the air up through the stack. I don't know if I mentioned too that I got these for free from the Titan company. They contacted and offered to send them out for review, but they're not sponsoring the post in any way. I don't get any monetary funds for doing it, and I'm not related to them or have anything to do with them other than they just sent it out, and I'm allowed to say whatever I want about them. So this is hooked up much the same way. Got the little Y Molex connectors. Goes into a different type of box though. And I kind of like this box a little better. It's kind of a little upgraded metal box. Also it has a switch on it, so when you don't want to use the fans, you switch it off and there's absolutely no current drain. Got the same thing. You got manual, and then for the manual mode, rather than 6 speeds, you have an infinite rheostat on it, min to max. And we've got also the same auto temperature probe activated. So let's switch it on, see what we're drawing. Manual mode here. So we have nothing going on. Got to turn my box on first here. Here we go, hooked up. Sorry, one of my probes fell off there. Let's try that again. There we go. So they're spinning pretty good. And right away we have 100 milliamps. So I'll just crank the fans up a bit. And then we're maxed out at about 135. So there's not a big range in current. That does slow it down. They're very quiet, which I like. Barely hear them, even because they're bigger than those little ones. They have quite a neat blade design on them. Let's turn it off there so you can see it. Yeah, kind of a funky blade design. This probably keeps them nice and quiet. So let's give the temperature probe a try here. I'll go to temp. We got them on. There we we go. Let's have the probe in some water here. Pull it out and heat it up. You can see it climbing there. The voltage climbs and the fan speeds up. So same sort of thing. But yeah, I like how quiet the thing is. See how much air it's moving here. Not a huge amount of air, but you know, in the application it's meant for, you're more after quiet operation, and it's sucking enough air to be of use for sure. It's not a cooling fan for a person, but it definitely will work in the fridge, so I'm going to like that. I'm going to mount that right up on the top vent. Cool. So let's go to the actual cooling fan for the roof vent next. Okay, the big one. Let's measure that one. 12.5 inches by a little over 6 and looks like about 6 1/4. Kind of oddball measurements. Hope it fits. It does have some adjusters here for mounting. These brackets here, just thumb screws. Comes with a selection of mounting hardware. Kind of looking at it, looks very, the vent here looks very European or international, and they have a lot of different languages here, so I imagine they sell this stuff for a worldwide audience. You know, that roof vent doesn't look like something we usually see here commonly in North America, so, but I think enough hardware here to make it fit. Let's see what we can turn this on, turn some power on here. There we go, 12 volts. So, right now it's off and it's drawing 0.02 to 22 milliamps. So it draws power just sitting there because it does have a control box on it. But one thing I saw is they have a little plug on the side, so you could just unplug it. Say you had the RV in storage or something, or you were boondocking and you didn't want to have, you know, parasitic power draws. Let's put that back on there. And it came with about 15 or 20 feet of hookup wire. You just need to find 12 volts somewhere in your rig. So let's give it a try here. We got in and out, so it's reversible. Let's hit the in here. We'll turn it on. There we go. So it's got a blue LED like the other one there. And she's going 54 milliamps. So I'll start powering up a little higher. There we're halfway. 135 milliamps. 180. There we are at 5. 246. And max. So we're up pretty close to half an amp. Not too bad. It's pushing pretty good air, but not too loud. Definitely not as loud as my bathroom fan, that's for sure. Maybe I should mount this in the bathroom. Yeah, it's actually not a bad idea. Get rid of that cheesy bathroom fan and mount this thing in there. So it's got an in and out. Let's see what happens when we hit out. Oh, so it's stopping. Fans come to a stop. And they start up the other way on the lowest speed. So, not too bad. It's like pretty solid plastic. One thing I noticed though is it's got quite an odor on the plastic. Kind of stinks. Really chemically smelling, so I hope that's going to dissipate. Okay, so that's a quick look at each of them and the current draw. So let's get to installing them. I think I'll install, let's go with the fridge vent first. Get up there, install that at the top and wire it in. You can demo it. Cool. Okay, so Angie and I put our heads together and been brainstorming this install. We've come up with a plan. So here's the fridge, and up above, if you remember, about a month or so ago I installed the WineGuard Wi-Fi booster up there and installed a switch for it right there. So I have 12 volt power right there, which is very convenient. I also have some plates where I ran the wires in from up in the roof, so it's going to be easy enough to follow the same path up, because I had ran the WineGuard power wire down through the fridge's vent there, so that worked out good. So all I got to do is take this box and mount it. I'll probably mount it right beside the switch up there, and then I can tie into the same power that's on the switch, and then I'll be able to run the power wire up back through the vent to where I'm going to mount the fans. I got about 6 feet of wire, so that should be enough to get there. And then the temperature probe I'll tape up in the vent up there, so when it gets hot up in the vent, the fans will come on automatically. So let's get to it. First we'll mount this box. Rather than use the 3M tape to mount the box, I decided to take it apart and punch a few holes in it, and I'll screw the box in to the wood up there and then reassemble it here. There's a good look inside, see what's inside there. You got a control circuit. Okay, there we go. So I tied into the always on 12 volt side of this switch in case I don't want to be running the WineGuard Wi-Fi booster at the same time. And we'll just do a quick test here. There we go. The fan's hooked up. Okay, so now I'll just fish the wires up there, dress the leads, put them up through there, and we'll head up on the roof and mount the fans. Okay, up on the roof. Beautiful summer day here. Nice little breeze. Weather's starting to cool down. We've been up near 90 the last few days, so kind of a welcome change. A little bit of a sea breeze. So here we go. Got it all mounted in there. Fans on. Ran it down the same part as I did my WineGuard. There's the WineGuard Wi-Fi over there. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see about that install. So, let's pop the cover back on. That should draw a lot more air through that vent, help the old fridge out. I just used their hardware there to kind of MacGyver it on there. Should be okay. Okay, changed my mind again. I think I'm going to put it into the bedroom vent. It'd be nice when after we have a shower to be able to suck out the steam and stuff. Right, Snoopy? Right, Ray? See, Angie can be replaced. Okay, so this is the bezel I've taken down out of the vent there. And I'll set that up to hang in there. Then I got my 12 volt power wire. So that's going to go up in here is my vent, and lucky for me nearby is a light, and it's got some constant power on it right there, so I'll be able to tie into that light, and I won't have to worry about overloading the circuit or anything, because that thing used to have 2 incandescent bulbs. Now we're down to just 1 LED bulb, so I have a lot of extra amperage capacity in there. And the thing, as we measured before, only drew about a half an amp, so it shouldn't be a problem. So I'll run the wire over there and splice into this 12 volt circuit, and then I can get to mounting the fan. Should be a pretty easy job. So I just did a quick splice to the wiring there and then soldered on the fan power wires. The lighting system in my rig, black is positive and white is negative. You never can really trust an RV 100%. They always change things. I just know that the lighting circuit's like that. But I always double check using my multimeter One way to check that is if you have most multimeters, you have your black and red lead, and you put the red onto a positive wire and the black onto the negative, then you'll have a positive readout. If you get them reversed, you'll show a negative voltage, so you know that you have it reversed. So that's one way to confirm the polarity of the wiring before you go hooking things up backwards. So I'll just tape that up and feed the wires back, put my fixture back, and get to work at mounting the fan into that shroud. Well, after a little bit of trial and error, I think I got a mounting situation figured out. Yeah, like I said, it looks like their stuff is for more some type of international European venting. If this fits in here, but not really the way with their hardware, I ended up, it would be too wide. So I just went in there and put in a regular bolt, and on the other side a nut, and that should do the job fine. It's pretty solidly mounted in there, so I just got to put her back up in the hole, screw in my bezel here, and we should be good to give her a test. Okay, there we go, all installed. So that's in there really solid. Works out well. Let's give her a test here. Turn her on. Very quiet there. Let's crank it up a bit. There's max RPM. And it's pushing in quite a bit of air. And switch it to the out. Stops and then it turns the other way. And we'll just push that to max again. There we go. One thing I don't like about it is when you turn it off, there you go, so that's off. When I turn it back on, instead of remembering that it was at 6, it comes back, at in again, so I don't really like that. I don't know. It's okay. I think it goes on Amazon for about $85 or $90. It's okay. But I'm not overly impressed with it. I think I like the Fan-Tastic fans a little better. Easy to install though. So I've also decided to install the smaller set of Titan fans, rack fans here. This is the 90mm model that I got. And I'm going to put it on the fridge vent, so basically these fans will be drawing air in, and then those roof ones will be sucking it up, so I should get a nice airflow. So like most of the mounting hardware, it didn't really work out with the standard North American type vent here. I think it's made for European or Australian vents, so I couldn't really utilize their hardware. So what I did to mount it to mine is on all 4 corners I just used silicone. The fans are super light, so once that silicone sets up, it'll stay in place no problem. Then if I ever want to get rid of it, I haven't drilled any holes or anything in my vents. And then we attach the wiring up. I just zip clipped the wires together and I put the controller right here. And I'll just leave it on auto mode, so it'll be a temperature sensor that'll trigger it on. And the sensor wire I just put up into the vent, taped it up on one of the wires up in the vent there. So it'll come on when it needs to and stay off when it doesn't. I could also, if I want to go boondocking, don't want any power draw at all, I could just undo this Molex connection here and that would kill power to it. I just tapped for power. I just tapped into the 12 volt line that goes in the fridge. Shouldn't be any problem capacity wise, like this thing draws very little current at all, but that should work well. To recap the 3 fans, The one that I installed in the lower fridge vent was a TTC SC22, and it has 90 millimeter fans in it. Overall, I'm happy with it. It's very quiet. Seems to push an okay amount of air, not a tremendous amount. And it has a neat little speed controller box. It's kind of plasticky, but decent enough. I think on Amazon this one goes for about $75. Next was the one that I put on the top roof vent up where the stack comes out the roof for the fridge, and I really liked this one. I liked that it had the metal aluminum brackets around it. It's a 122 millimeter fan, and then it came with the metal box, and I kind of preferred the analog control, so I really liked this one, and I think it went for around $65. Actually, it was cheaper. That's the TTC-SC09TZ. And there's different versions. You can get it in 90 millimeter, 120 millimeter, or 140 millimeter. And then finally the roof vent fan. This was definitely the least favorite of all the fans. I'm kind of just okay with it. I actually prefer my Fan-Tastic fan a lot more for the RV roof vent, and the Max Air fans are better too. But this thing comes in at around $95, so it's a little cheaper, and you could mount it in different locations. You could mount it as a window fan, or it'd be good ideally for a small trailer or something like that where you don't want a giant fan in there. It was super easy to install. Just find the power. It has a decent little control board. One thing I didn't like, though, that it didn't remember your settings when you turned it off. Also, the plastic was kind of, like I noticed, quite a chemically smell. That is starting to dissipate. When I put it in the vent, I didn't smell it in the RV unless I set it for the air to come in. Then I could smell it, but it seems to be getting better. So it'll be good for our bathroom there. It'll move enough air to get the shower moisture out. I think it's cubic flow per minute is in the 250 range or something, whereas the big Fan-Tastic fan is like at full speed is 900. So like I say, I'm just okay with that. So thanks for watching. What I'll do is I'll use these fans for several months. I'm planning on coming back with a full review when I do updates on some of my other products. I'll include the fans in that product review, maybe sometime in the winter after I used them all summer. And I'll be curious to see if these fridge fans start to get noisy. Right now they're very quiet, but you never know given time. They're supposed to be water resistant, IP55, and dust resistant, so I'm hoping they'll perform well, but time will tell, and I will let you know. For more information, check the links in the description, and check over to loveyourrv.com. There's a full blog post on the fans there. Cheers, everyone.